All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Welcome to this great conversation we are having here at Afrique 24. Ninao show kali, show fiti, show ambayo ndio imeanza. All right, karibu tu sana. I hope you are well. Welcome, wata. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have an interesting one for you just happening now. Where Karibu sana, nijuze unanitazama ukiwa wapi, watu wa mbali na karibu, karibuni sana. People from very far, welcome to this show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have an interesting show for you, just about to happen, just about now. All right, welcome to this show. I hope you are doing well. Karibuni sana. Ninayo show fiti, ninayo show kali. Hii ya leo si refu sana, so pumzika tu, relax and enjoy. All right, it won't be a long one, but it will be an interesting one. Okay, so join us as we have a great conversation hapa kwa Afrique 24. I'll be telling you and I'll be making you know what is happening in our country. Watu wa UDA wamekuwa wa kwanza kushambulia na hili swali na nitakuwa na kujuza ni kwa nini show iko hivyo, kwa nini topic iko hivyo. Alright? I am telling you. Ni kumoto huku nje, nakwambia kila siku kuna kuwa kali, kutamu na kuna kalia sana jamaa mmoja tu The president nakwambia anashambuliwa left, right and center, anavamiwa home and away. Alienda Italy and Italy Africa Summit, kitu kama hiyo in Rome and kumbe kwenda huko kuleta more problems than more good. I'll be telling you why in just about few minutes from now, but I'm equally joined by Mr. G. Tutakwambia ni kwa nini show ya leo iko hivyo. Karibu sana, tujuze unatazama ukiwa wapi. Karibu sana sana wa Kenya. Ninayo show moja fiti hii, wadau mtapenda hii, wadau mtapenda. Watu wanauliza ni kwa nini Kenya is on a free fall hiyo ni kizungu mingi, lakini you'll be knowing what that means in just about now. Why? I'm telling you, the shilling now inachezea 167 there about. Dollar in exchange at 162 to 167 depending on where you choose to exchange it. All right. So kuna mtu anauza hizi stories zitaisha lini? Mpaka lini, Mr. Ruto? You know, some of the things that were promised by him had a timeline in the next 6 months, in the next 2 months, in the next 4 months. Tumetenga, tutatenda, tutafanya. So mtu mmoja ameuliza hapo, na yeye ndiye ambaye amefanya hisho ikawa hivyo. All right, of course I had something else prepared, but I begin with what Wamuchomba, the UDA governor for not governor, MP for, is it Githongori or yeah, somewhere kutukama huko has asked the president. Of course, it's via a tweet, so I'll be sharing that. Equally, I'll be sharing to you, ladies and gentlemen, what UDA wameamua kufanya kwa majudges. I want to hear from you. What do you make of the UDA fraternity saying, unajua aje bwana Ruto, what we are going to do, we are going to starve the judges. We are going to reduce their budget. So the MPs already are proposing a war, a different war with the institutions. So I'm equally going to show you what is happening and what is causing all these dramas. Ladies and gentlemen, equally, we'll be looking at why there are so many children away from school. Of course, this is a topic we have looked at. Yesterday, we just scratched the surface of over 130,000 Kenyan young children who are yet to join high school. And my question is, I wish also we get the figures of those who are yet to join junior secondary school. Was it 100% transition? Someone equally asked yesterday here that we wish we could get the figures from county to county, from Mount Kenya County. How many kids were unable to join the schools? You know, we need to know all it's important. Number two, the government equally needs to come out and tell us why is the dollar doing what the Kenya shilling doing in the sense that it's now exchanging at 167. Yes, walisema we had over exaggerated the value of our currency, but the question would be to how much. Yeah, they should tell us, as Kenyans, this is the how much we had overpriced, over valued, so that we know, because it is shocking that almost daily the dollar is gaining against the shilling. All right. Education ndio hiyo. There's a scandal they're saying that is looming or is there in eduafia. I'll be playing what that means. Kulikuwa na kaskando before nhif ifungwe, and there are guys pia wanadaiwa millions, kwa sababu ya nhif. So we are equally asking, if hii ilikuwa nhif ambayo ilikuwa ina make people millionaires, what about hizi zingine, like hii housing levy? How secure are our funds? As much as the courts have stopped it, Parliament is working very hard, very hard to bring it back. So this is a matter that is not yet over. So we can talk about it as though it's still there. All right. So welcome to this show. I'm sure this one you will love. Equally to not be a long one because it's a weekday. So we understand that you have to wake up early and enjoy that morning rush ukienda job. So we have to make this short but sweet. All right. I have a panelist with me. I'll be showing you as well how to join in the show. All right. The link will be appearing up kwa comment section. All right. Fantastic. Equally, I'll be showing you several clips of why we are having this topic this fine evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So you relax, enjoy, and above all, be part of this conversation. Of course, MPs from Kenya Kwanza have asked their what do you call them, their their MPs, wakati president anakuja kwa anakuja kutembea nyumbani ama mlimani ama in the Mount Kenya region, manze, mwache hizo exchanges, mwache politics during president's visit, because inaleta aibu, because over the weekend the president was in Meru and the pictures there were not anything to smile about. So that's what we'll be looking at, and equally we'll be participating in many other conversations with the panelists that I'm having, and those who equally who will be joining us. Asante sana kwa kutufanya wakubwa wadau. Asante kwa kutazama show zetu. Show zetu zimekuwa zikifanya vizuri sana in all our platforms. So we really thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to Afrique 24. We ask you to grow with us, continue being with us. Let this be your number one channel in as far as such content is concerned. All right, subscribe up to Afrique 24, and we are going to have a very nice show. Before I even invite Bwana Bwana, what do you call him? Mr. G, sorry. Why I said nimesahau, bro. Before I even have him, allow me to play just one clip and then we will be up and running. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very, very much for being part of this show. Nina show moja fiti. Hii wadau, hii mtapenda tu sana. This one you're going to have a good time enjoying and liking so much. All right. Wamuchomba is a tweet, so that one I'll just project. But I wanted to begin with something. All right. I wanted to begin with something. Of course, we are we are sorry for that. Sorry for that. We are about to look at two things. One of the things we are about to look at is what is happening to the Kenya shilling. All right, what is happening to the Kenya shillings? All right, now let's begin with this. The threats to our development. Walisema wanang'ang'ana kulipa madeni, but I'm telling you, I'm not sure if we are doing so. So let us begin with that. Okay, let's begin with that, and then I'll have my good panelist, Bwana Mr. G, help me ngamua most of what we are about to share. Okay, so let's listen into this one, even as we begin the show. Karibuni sana. Here we
Its ability
go.
to meet its debt obligation in the event of unforeseen global economic shocks. Now, IPF says Kenya has breached all debt sustainability analysis indicators, putting it at a high risk of debt distress, even as it notes that the country's debt has not yet become a crisis, but could easily turn if the government does not address its expenditure priorities to mitigate against unforeseen shocks. Jimmy Mbogo with the details.
The Institute of Public Finance has painted a rosy outlook for the year, with the GDP growing to 5%, thanks to an improved performance in agriculture and service sectors. But the think tank has warned that the country could be slowly sliding into default territory, having raised concerns over the current debt to GDP ratio. IPF says the government may fail to achieve the intended ratio of 55% by 2027 from the present value of over 70% due to a slowdown in revenue collection. Kenya's debt interest has also doubled to 28% compared to 14% in 2013-14 financial year, further shrinking the country's fiscal space.
We have breached external debt surface to export ratio, our debt surface to revenue ratio, our external debt surface to revenue ratio. Like, we have breached all those indicators. And what that means is that if we are hit by an adverse shock as an economy, then we are at high risk of defaulting on our international obligations.
With revenue inflows yet to fully recover to pre-pandemic period, experts warn that fiscal consolidation is no longer an option for both levels of government, insisting that debt-funded growth cannot be sustained in the long term.
We don't have a revenue problem. We have an expenditure problem. So if you see we have not met our tax targets, it's because also our forecasting model is still not light. We are very ambitious. So when we set our target for revenue, we set it very high.
We are not likely to achieve much of the development expenditure targets if things remain the way they are. And surprisingly, our revenue underperformance is coming at a time where we have introduced a new tax policy and other administrative reforms.
IPF has asked the government to address challenges faced by the manufacturing sector, such as the cost of production and operating environment for both job creation and export improvement, without which the institute remains bearish that the FX pressures experienced in the country will persist in 2024, if not worsen. Jimmy Mbogo.
All right. Now, I'm sure many of us, I'm not sure why I've played that clip, but it's because this is a debate we had here in Africa 24. I think the day before yesterday. Yeah, you should look at that, because as much as we are saying we how do I put this? Our country is not in safe hands yet. We are not out of the woods yet, because we are having crisis in so many sectors. Now, one of the sectors that might cripple us very easily, as experts are saying, if you have heard clearly, is easy stories at debts. Hizi stories za death zinaweza kutukimbisha vibaya sana. But now when you listen to the president speak, one of the things that he says so often and not is that we have paid, or rather we are in the right trajectory, tunalipa madeni. All right, and in fact alisema shida ambayo tumekuwa nayo ilikuwa ni madeni. Sasa tumelipa madeni, hatuko pabaya sana. We are not in a bad way, eh? At one time he told us that the economy is not doing bad, but when you listen to experts speak, you are like, the president, who advises him, who gives him such reports? I'll be looking at what UDA family has decided to do concerning the judges, but that is in a short while. Let's first begin with the economy and why the shilling is doing so badly. Why is the president in a rush to tell us all is well, yet all is not well? Okay, so those are the things we are looking at. Wamuchomba begins by asking him, up to when? Ni hadi lini? Umesema tutatenga, tumesema kwanzia mwezi fulani tutafanya. Okay, so mpaka lini? When do we wait for this kutengwa to see that truly there was something that was set aside to improve the economy, to pay this debt. When will that be? That is why we are asking hadi lini. All right? Okay. Thank you so very much. Mr. G, hadi lini? Tungoje mpaka lini?
How are you, Mr. Jex?
Niko salama. Unaendeleaje?
Naendelea poa. Hii mambo ya kungoja, sijui tunangoja mpaka nini? You know, there's a question ambao muuliza pale ukisema kuwa there's a way ambao unapata the president is talking kama ile issue juzi ya kwa akiongea, not juzi but some month ago, akituambia kwa economy iko stable, economy inafanya sawa, and when we listen to the experts, tunapata expert they are reading on a different page. There's something ambao nimekutumia, kama unaweza share that thing, at least itakuwa sawa tukiongea kuhusu hii issue, because the main thing ni issue, na the problem is just this guy ambaye ni Ruto. Ruto is one guy ambaye is anapopoti kwa alpha and omega, anapopoti kwa is the all knowing person, mtu ambaye he cannot be advised, haizi kuwa advised na hizi sikiza anything, ye akishaamua kwa njia ndio hiyo njia atakufuata. So there's no way tuta come out of this problem. There's a problem na tunafaa tukubali there's a problem in this country and in this government ambao ni Kenya Kwanza, and they are not ready kututoa kwa hiyo shida ambayo tuko, kwa sababu ni kama they lack, ni kama hawakuwa na that plan. That is always what I say, they never had a plan. Hata this issue ya house levy wanatuambia kuwa it is affordable housing for a hustler, mtu ambaye ni mama mboga, mtu ambaye ni bodaboda. But when you go deeper into this issue, unapata this thing si ya mama mboga ama si ya hustler, kwa sababu for you to pata ile nyumba ambayo is 1 bedroom ama 2 bedroom, unafaa uwe na 100 plus, not 100, almost 300,000 plus as a deposit. Na ukiangalia mama mboga sahi, hata tu hiyo 10,000 ama 20,000 kupata ama 50,000 kupata ni issue. There's a problem. Sasa anaongea affordable housing for mama mboga and for bodaboda, watapata pio pesa, the 300,000 as a deposit, the 2.5 million kununua hiyo nyumba. When watapata lini? This is just a narrative wanajaribu kuleta, because he's a guy ambaye ameperfect kuplay as a victim.
Because Wakenya wanauliza ni mpaka lini, kwa sababu you remember walipoleta mafuta walisema watu waanze kujitayarisha, wenye wako na dona wameshikilia waanze kurudisha, you know, kwa sababu very soon itaanza hata kutoka less than 120. Okay, hiyo story ikakaa hivyo ikadai, but sasa dola inapanda more than even we anticipated. Aya, kidogo kidogo kukakuwa na ile story ya gas, because if you remember, I know I'm bringing very old promises, but equally Kenyans are still asking when will it happen, because ulisema hivi, this was what you said, okay, these were the agendas you brought, okay, this is the money you said, hii pesa tumetenga tutajenga barabara fulani, hii pesa tutajenga stadium fulani, hii pesa tumetenga itafanyia wamama kitu fulani. Okay, if you even go back to the campaign promises, I'm telling you, ujikuna kichwa, because there are so many, you know, the diapers for mothers who deliver the first 3 months. Okay, so those are the things Kenyans anauliza, when will it happen? Kwa sababu you said mumetenga, you remember the words were tumetenga, you know, tumepanga, tume so now Wamuchomba and many have brought that as a what do you call it, as an issue. I'm sure you cannot see my screen. I really want to really project what Wamuchomba asked just few hours ago. I think it was around 6 hours ago, but I can read from where I am. This is what Wamuchomba is asking. The Kenya currency is at a free fall at 167 against US dollar. Okay, the cost of living is so unbearable. Electricity is unbearable. The cost of production is unbearable. Is our plan still working at this rate? Then she goes and asks this question: tutatenga na tumepanga ama kupanga, tutapanga mpaka lini? Now Mr. G, tutapanga mpaka lini? At what point will we now see these actions coming out? Because we are now talking of, we are headed to 2 years in, tunaelekea miaka miwili, bado tunaongelelea tutafanya, tumeweka, you know, mikakati at what point?
you remember there's a point ambao umeongea sahi that issue ya dollar when Gachagua alikuwa anatuambia kwa those people ambao wameficha dola watoe kwa sababu dola itaanza kushuka chini na wakiendelea kuficha watapoteza. This is what will happen. Mr. Jakes, there is no solution with this government. Hakuna any solution. In fact, there's something, kuna huyu jamaa ambaye anaitwa I think it's from Central Kenya. Nimesahau jina yake but ako na afani, ako na name mwingine afani ambaye alikuwa akiongelesha Ruto but I think imekuwa ni kwa Twitter. Is it Kabando ama sijui kama umeona hiyo Twitter ya Kabando Kabando. Yeah, you know, this guy hii mambo yake ya kutenga, it is just a narrative ambaye kwa anajaribu kuambia watu, akijaribu kuwachanganya akili, yani wafikirie kuwa he will do something but ukweli ni kuwa there's nothing he's going to do kwa sababu for the last almost 2 years sasa ni 1.5 years ambao zimeisha sahi akiendelea bado ni story zake nitatenga. Unakumbuka wakati wa election, wakati wa campaign alikuwa anatuambia nitachukua 50 billion sijui nitaweka wapi, nitachukua 100 billion nitapatia mama, nitachukua sijui 100 billion nitapatia sijui watoto sijui nini. Sahi he has nothing to offer. Haya madeni hizi zimejazana kila kona. He's taking anatax every corner. Huku hatuoni value ya taxes ambayo tunalipa. We don't see anything. Na kuna anything tunaweza simama tukasema kwa this is something ambayo tumetumia. Wanatudanganya hapa ati ni madeni wanalipa and yet madeni wanaenda kukopa kila siku. Sasa who will believe this government? Hakuna mtu anaweza amini hii government kwa sababu gani? Hakuna siku wataitenga na wasucceed na what they are doing. Wametudanganya na mambo ya hustler, sijui ati hustler fund. Uliona vile anakuja kaanza kumama mdomo akidanganya watu sijui ati somebody amekopa sijui 700,000 na ameshindwa kununua tuktuk ya 200,000. Unakumbuka hiyo story yake? Yeah, so this guy, there's no solution with this government. The same issue na hii issue nilikuwa naongelea issue ya affordable housing. Angekuwa ni mtu ambaye ana akili, hata hii vitu ya hii affordable housing ngaachana nao kwanza kwa sababu si ya hustler, hii ni ya matajiri. Angeenda akafikiria watu hustler, na kufikiria watu hustler at least angeangalia investors, foreign investors, akawapatia chance on this hizi shamba ambao anaibia watu, hizi shamba ambao ananyang'anya watu. Angekuwa na good relationship with investors, wajenge industries ambayo inaweza andika mtu hata for 30 years, for 50 years, 60 years, mtu anaweza benefit than this 500 anapatia watu ati kwa mjengo. Somebody goes to university, somebody goes to college, asome alafu akuja kwa kufanya mjengo.
All right.
It's not a logical.
Na hata kwako tu saizi Mr. G, asante sana. Najua tayari wengi meanza kujiunga nasi. Unajiuliza tuna discuss nini? Ukiangalia kwa screen yako hiyo tweet ya Wamuchomba, who is the MP for I think Githongori, if I'm not wrong, the MP, the MP Gathoni Wamuchomba, a UDA MP. This is a lady who has really stood out to be someone who is very independent-minded. She does not toe party politics. Yeye hajazama na hizi stories za party politics. Yeye anafikiria independently. All right, she's a lady who speaks it as it is. She's a lady who was not afraid to defend her constituent when it came to the housing and the finance bill. You remember, this is the lady who said no to it. And in any case, right now, some would say she's the last woman standing in UDA because yeye na very few, if any, ndio waliamua kusema no. She stood her ground. And now she's the one remaining who almost had everything going in the right direction then. And now today she has really brought a storm up on Twitter. Okay, I know we would have wanted to be in an audio form, but now we have to do it how it is, in form of a tweet. And that is what is describing and helping us discuss this show. Okay, we are asking you, ladies and gentlemen, tutangoja hadi lini? Yes, wametenga ni sawa, kutengwa ilitengwa ni sawa, mpango ulipangwa ni sawa, but mpaka lini? Hadi lini? You know, what is the timeline? How long should we wait so that maybe then we will stop the heckling because yesterday tuliongelea kuhusu the heckling that was going all around, you know. So Kenyans probably would wish to know, when should we see some changes? When should we see the shilling begin to appreciate against the dollar? When should we see the cost of living become slightly bearable? Okay, electricity hata tusiongee wadau. The pain of electricity round here hata hatusemi. I don't know if bwana G uliona even Britain wakiongelea stories zetu za tax hapo kwa Twitter. I'll be showcasing it just now, but before I even go to that, mpaka lini? Kwa sababu sio shilingi inafanya venye inafanya, si mafuta bei yake, si stima bei yake, sio gharama ya matibabu bei yake, sio governors wapeo pesa zao kwa sababu niliona leo walikuwa na ile inaitango aibe kama itango aje mkutano yao na deputy president walikuwa nayo leo. Okay, so there are so many challenges, but we are yet to see, you know, at times when you have so much on your plate, you begin checking one by one, you know. So mpaka lini tutaona at least one, if not all, because we don't anticipate all these things will go within a flash. We need to give it time. But how long? When should we wait? Because she's asking this. The president came in with a plan. Nakumbuka plan. Ile hasala walijita the plan. She's asking, is the plan still at work at this rate? And if it is at work, tutatenga na tutapanga mpaka lini? When will we? Do you agree with her sentence? Because I enjoyed reading this one, and I made sure that it makes it in this show. And I'm sure you can now be able to read, because I'm looking at other screens and I can read just fine. What do you make of these sentiments? And do you agree with her? And are those questions really valid?
Yeah, you know, it is as if ni kama anakejeli. You know, when you listen to, when you read the question, amefika mahali anaona ni kama ni kejeli. That's why unasikia anasema tutatenga, tutapanga mpaka lini. You know, ashagundua this thing is not working. Yeah, the policies ambayo jamaa anatumia does not work. Na is the one guy ambaye hawezi sikiza, but now we have people ambao wanajaribu kumweleza na hataki kusikia, but now to be on the safer side lazima ufuate vile anasema, because ukienda against vile anafanya wewe ndo unaumia, because somebody ambaye hataki kusikia anything. But issue ya kutenga na kupanga, hiyo ni kitu ambayo itakuwa ni kama nyimbo. Miaka 5 itaisha. Nakumbuka sahi kwanza hii nini ambayo inaendelea ya hii recruitment ambayo inaendelea sahi ya ODM. Sasa ndio inamchanganya kabisa, maana yake hatapata hata chance ya kufanya kitu ambacho anataka kufanya, kwa sababu sahi atakuwa na ile haraka haraka pia kuingia kwa field kwanza, kwa maana it is as if it is an early campaign sasa mood ambayo imeanza kuingia. So the guy pia itabidi aanze kuingia kwa street, aanze ku campaign, na he will not do anything. Hii mambo ya kupanga kutenga haita work. Ataendelea kutenga ile mwaka mzima utaisha, next year pia itaisha.
Tayari yako juu ya magari kwa sababu
Hivyo
Meru Meru alikuwa juu ya gari, and it was more of a political rally as much as walikuwa nasema ni launching of projects, launching of finished projects, or even starting them. But really, when you looked at how the crowds were gathering, was it just kuanzisha miradi ama ilikuwa more of siasa? And of course, could it be a reaction to the recruitment and the crowd that ODM as well is attracting?
Exactly, it is just siasa. There's nothing like project. You know, when baba anafanya hiyo pia namtia tumbo joto, we call it tumbo joto, yeah. So pia yeye lazima ataingia kwa field, ataanza kucampaign, and this thing itamdistract kabisa, itamdistract. In fact, hata perform anything. Hii mambo ya kutenga na kutenga hii na kupanga, watapanga the whole 5 years, kwa sababu sasa ilikuwa ni campaign sasa. Na uzuri ni kuwa iko kwa advantage ya the opposition, haiko kwa advantage yake, kwa sababu ni yeye amejulikana kuwa ni mkora, amejulikana kuwa ni muongo. There's nothing ambayo anaweza promise akafulfill. What ana profile ni kitu ambayo ikuji kusaidia wananchi. Sasa obvious itakuwa against yeye, na atajaribu, ataingia kwa field, kwa sababu kumbuka akiwa deputy president alispend the whole 5 years akiwa juu ya gari. Na the whole 5 years hiyo in Central Kenya kwa siku anaenda karibu mara 2, kwa wiki anaenda karibu mara 5, karibu mara 4 in one day, yani in one week. So saa hii pia itabidi afanye hivyo, because this is a guy ambaye amezoea. Hiyo ndo hali yake hiyo, na tuweze mbadilisha. So the problem ni kuwa he cannot listen to any advice. So hata ukimwambia atafute advisors, hakuna mtu anaweza msikiza. That's why unapata watu wanataka ku resign because they are mistreated. Watu wamekuwa it's a lot of mess and confusion in that government. That's why people they want to resign.
Now kuna story ambayo pia ina trend hapo kwa Twitter. Sorry, leo show inaweza kuwa na vitu mingi za Twitter. Of course mara mingi show imekuwa na vitu mingi za YouTube. So leo tutakuwa na vitu mingi za Twitter, alright? Of course ni vizuri sometimes kuwa na dynamics, alright? Okay. Kuna hii story ambayo president amekuwa msafiri, amekuwa rais msafiri rais, okay? Amepanda ndege mara si moja, na mara mingi amesema aendi kwa sababu yeye ni tourist. Now, hii story yenye ameenda Italy for example, alifaa kuwe na if I quote him from one speech aliyesema, si lazima ma presidents waende in this kongamano zenye huwa wanaitisha, Russia for Africa, China for Africa, India for Africa. Saa zingine it's good we send the chairman, the spokesperson, okay? Or for example, because we have a representative or AU, so sometimes we can send him, okay? It's not a must that Kenya and African president wanaenda nchi hizi za wazungu, and I'm not saying it's bad, alafu wanajazwa kwa mabasi, wanapewa treatment funny simply because they are Africans na ni story zao zimeenda kuongelelewa. So him Ruto, and I'll be playing that just now, was proposing, you know what, badala tufanyangwe hivyo, situwe tunatuma hata sisi representative wetu na watu wakamshangilia. I don't know if you remember some of the moments Ruto amepigiwa makofi. Now those moments amepigiwa makofi,
I remember
they have come to haunt him. All right. So before we go on hizo story mzabaka lini, let's first listen and look at what he had said. Now, this is an excerpt from his speech deducted by Boniface Mwangi. Now, this is what Boniface Mwangi is saying. All right. He quoted the president. Anasema aje kwamba we have made the decision. Okay. This is what he's saying. Can you see? Can you see? Yeah, and I think
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
All right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Wanasema, we have made the decision that it is not intelligent for 54 of us. Now, the 54 hapa alikuwa anaongelea the president, okay? To go and sit before one gentleman from another place. Sometimes we are mistreated. Kwanza, I think for the first time nili notice kumbe it's true, alikuwa amesema huwa wanakuwa mistreated. So I almost asked, okay, sasa unakuwa mistreated but hakuna mtu alikutuma, you could have sent a representative, And then asema we are loaded into buses like school children and it is not right. Before even I play the clip, what do you make of his speech? Because his speech alisema sometimes we just need to send a representative. And akasema the best person kutuma ni msee wa AU, you know, the chairperson, si unamjua. So why is it that each time yeye alijipeleka, na in any case hakuna any other president from East Africa alienda peke yake. Other presidents, I think they took this speech, maybe walimwamini, kumbe yeye alisema lakini bado arudi akatenda, different from what he had said. And already people are playing this clip hapo kwa Twitter. So what do you make of him? Because anakuja kwa speech anasema hapana, we will no longer be going, hatutakuwa tunaenda nchi tunakuwa mistreated, hatutakuwa tunaenda tunasombo kwa mabasi kama wanafunzi wa shule. Raundi, we're going to be doing it differently. We'll be sending a representative. Now in this Italian African meeting, there is AU representation there, but equally he is also present. So what was he even saying in this tweet when you look at it?
You know, tayari Boniface Mwangi alikuwa anamwambia kuwa ni mtu ambaye ako double speak person. He's a double speak person. Ni mtu ambaye you should not take him serious in any case. Akisema kitu don't take him. Sorry, ni network network imenisumbua. Okay, nilikuwa nasema Boniface Mwangi alikuwa anajaribu kuonyesha watu kuwa this guy you should not take him serious in anything ambayo anasema, because he has never been serious on anything that he says. He's a double speak person. Ni mtu ambaye anapenda kujifanya ni mzuri, he knows something that he's talking about, he knows everything, kumbe ni kama haelewi what's happened. Kama sahi sasa, just tell me, other presidents wajaenda, yeye ameenda kufanya nini kule? Nakumbuka atakija ataanza kutuambia kwa ameenda sijui kutafutia watu kazi. Ameenda kutafutia watu kazi ndio apate dola, walete dola nyumbani. Those are the stories ambazo anajaribu kuambia watu. Just at least kushika akili za watu wale ambao ni wapumbavu waweze kuamini kwa he's doing something for our country, and yet he's not doing anything. He's just wasting our taxpayers money. Kama sahi trip ambayo ameenda, millions of money anaenda kuspend for nothing. Yeah, so it's somebody that you cannot take him serious.
You know, hii story hata mwenye alianzisha, mwenye alikoroga hii ilikuwa Lali Mado, you know the presenter, the journalist wa CNN, former journalist wa what do we call this, wa NTV. Yeye ndo alianzisha hizi story because alikuwa anauliza Prezo alisema one time si poa venye Prezo alisema ya kwamba that Africa wanaenda nchi zingine wanakuwa mistreated nini, but in fact in the tweet I think I have it. This is what Larry Mado had asked. Alikuwa anasema hivi, can you see it?
I
think we can see it. Larry Mado alianzisha hizi story. Aliuliza President William Ruto said, and your clip niko karibu kuicheza, it's now preparing. As President William Ruto said that he and 54 others, of course hiyo ndio nani Twitter kutoka kuiquote, other African leaders would not be summoned by one country. Alikuwa anasema haifai wewe tunaitwa na other countries, ni kama hata sisi sio marais, we need to be treated with some dignity. So he was saying should not be summoned by one country. The African Union would represent them going forward. In fact, alikuwa anasema kuanzia sasa hatutakuwa tukienda, tutakuwa tunatuma representative. But sasa look at this photo. Anasema sasa hii ni picture alikuwa ametuma, anauliza he is standing just steps away from the AU chairperson and the AU commissioner chair in Italy, while other East African president skipped. Other presidents ni kama walisikiza mwito wake. I don't know if my picture is quite visible, but I'll try to minimize it because this is a photo. This is a photo, okay?
Yeah, it is visible.
Now, when you look at this photo,
it is clear.
These two gentlemen ambao wako kwa hii picture, huyu mwenye kwa kona kabisa, mwenye ni mzee kabisa, huyo ndio chairman. Yeah, huyo ndio chairman. I think is a former prime minister of Gabon if I'm not wrong. And then huyo mwenye anamfuata hapo ni who, acha nisome, ni commissioner chairperson na ni AU chairperson na AU commission chairperson. Okay, but funny enough, William Ruto had to go. Angekaa home. Angekaa home. African countries, according to Larry Mado, Larry Mado, other African president wali skip. Of course, President Ruto alikuwa amesema tuliamua hatutarudi kuenda tukikuwa summoned, tutakuwa tunatumana, but he had to go. Why do you think he had to go? Why was it so important for him to go? He's not the chairperson. His role would have been represented by the chairperson, and this is what is equally causing a stir hapo kwa Twitter. What do you make of it?
You know, huyu jamaa, okay, huyu jamaa tutasema kuwa ni mtu wa kutembea, ni president wa kutembea, ni mtu ambaye haizi kulia, yani ni mtu haizi keti kwa kiti, maanake ni kama kiti ni moto, akijaribu kuketi anapigwa, anawashwa, anachomwa. Sasa inabidi anabidi atoroke Kenya. Because for me, I'm very sure, ni mtu mtembezi, because I can't see anything ambayo ameenda kufanya. There's nothing ameenda kufanya pale. If at all aliongea kuhusu we need representatives, na representative wenyewe amekuwa pale, yeye ameenda kufanya nini kule? Ni nini ambayo anaweka kwa meza ambayo ameenda kufanya? This is a guy ambaye amekuja ameleta mambo mengi, mpaka nani alikuwa anamsifu. You know, there's this guy from South Africa, Malema thought that this guy is a Pan-African, na akawa anamsifu sana, but he ended up akawa discouraged and disappointed with him. because of how he acts. Ni mtu ambaye anaongea kitu fulani, but when he acts ana act opposite. So even
Of
in this
course,
trip,
alikuwa
I
ende
don't see
atoe
anything
speech,
about ameenda kuleta.
but really, what was his role? Given that no other president saw it worth going there, he only went alone. Is it that tumemaliza shida zetu that it's okay when our president goes? And there's a song ishatolewa. I don't know if you have heard that song. I'll be playing it. I don't know if it has copyright, but I'll be looking at it. But yeye ndio alienda. African president waliskive. What do you make of this? Because Tanzania hawakwenda, Uganda hawakwenda, Somalia hawakwenda, Rwanda hawakwenda. It is him alone.
That shows that he's alone. Unajua kwa kunakuwa na unity with these presidents, what they call each other. Kila mtu ako na namba mwenzake, but at the moment ukiona picha kama hii, I think amebaki peke yake. Those other presidents ni kama hawana anything ya kuassociate naye. It's as if ni kama wamemwona is somebody ambaye ana most of his time and is a double speak person and mtu ambaye huwezi trust. Anaongea vitu ambao ni opposite with what he speaks something, but the action are just opposite. So they don't want to associate with him. Like kitu ambayo imehappen sahi. Okay, naona kuna huyu president wa Zimbabwe. Huyu si ni president wa Zimbabwe ako hapo.
Huo kwa kona
Yeah, that's the president of Zimbabwe.
Many African countries, not just East Africa, many actually walisky hii meeting. Of course Ruto atasema yeye alikuwa ameitwa atoe speech. But kuna hii part alisema, and let's listen into that, then we continue. This is what we are discussing, ladies and gentlemen.
We have also decided that it will not going to be business as usual. We have these meetings, Africa, US meeting, Africa, Europe, Africa, Turkey, Africa,
India.
Now we are waiting for, there is another one, Africa, Russia.
And Africa, Japan.
And Africa, Japan. We have made the decision that it is not intelligent for 54 of us to go and sit before one gentleman from another place. And I mean, and sometimes we are mistreated.
Yeah.
You know, we are loaded into buses like school kids. You know, and it's not right.
Well, you are summoned. You know,
it's not right. So the decision that we have made as AU is that going forward, if there is going to be a discussion between Africa and any other country, we are going to be represented by the chair, the outgoing chair, the bureau.
Chair of the commission
and
the chair
and the chair of the Rex, and we have 5 Rex. That should be sufficient for, I mean, a meeting of maybe 6, 7. Yeah. That should be able to represent Africa, and that is the position I am taking as the president of Kenya. For any other meeting that we are going to have with all these requests that we have a meeting between Africa and one other country. We respect the sovereignty of others. I think to ask for reciprocation is not to ask for too much.
No.
And for us to agree that let us have this kind of setup. The only because I had a conversation with President
Mr. G, speak umemsikiza vizuri. Anasema tunaitangwa tukiwa wengi, lakini kuanzia sasa hatutakuwa tukienda, tutakuwa tunatumana. In fact, anasema it is not wise tuendange sisi wote. Ni mmoja ama wawili atakuwa anatumwa, na sio hata marais, ni uongozi wa AU. But hey, ndio huyo kashachukua safari mbio akoita.
In fact, amesema we came to a conclusion. Came to a conclusion as African president. Hatutakuwa tunaenda tatuma. Sasa kwani yeye ni mmoja ambaye ametumwa? Yeye ametumwa. Oje, this is what nashangaa sasa. He's among those ambao ametumwa pale ama what really happened? Bwana anaongea against what alikuwa anaongea. Sasa oje, these are the issues. Hizi ndo indicators kuonyesha kuwa the guy is a double speak person.
Ama alikuwa amesahau
kujipendekeza. Anaweza kuwa amesahau kwa sababu look at the action ambayo amekuwa akifanya recently. and the things ambao wanafanya just kuanzia kwa courts. Kumbuka wakati alikuwa deputy president kwa ile government ya Jubilee, he's the same guy ambaye alikuwa anapiga kelele akisema kuwa court orders zinafaa zifuatwe. Court orders si vitabu, si makaratasi, si maneno ya mtu, but kwa sahi he's the one ambaye ana champion kuwa mambo ya hiyo court order tutaachana nayo, si tutafuata ile kitu ambayo tunataka kufanya. Ana suspend the constitution. Yeah, he's a guy that you cannot take him serious. Akikwambia kitu, don't take him serious.
So e-trip, I'm sure imetumia some good amount. Anytime the president leaves the country, some good amount is spent. In any case, we saw him akisalamia the prime minister wa Italy and all, but equally, was it really important for him to go? Was it that important? Kama ni speech angeifanya pia virtually, na hiyo pesa ingetumika mahali. All right, the spending in State House is up on the roof. Okay,
and
so what do you make of
that is
some of these meetings? Are they even necessary?
They're not necessary. That's why umepata the expert wakiongea wanasema the problem with this government is overspending. Those are the things ambao wanaona, the experts wanaona, and it's true. The government is overspending. Wakati ina tax mwananchi wa chini, ina tax kila mtu, we cannot see the fruits of that taxes ambao wana tax watu. They're just overspending. Kama hii trip haikuwa na any haikuwa na any importance kwa watu wa Kenya. Hakuna kitu anaenda kufanyia Kenya pale, but akija atakuja na uongo akasema alikuwa ameenda kutafutia Wakenya kazi. Alikuwa ameenda kuwatafutia wenye watafly nje, wenda wafanye kazi nje, walete dollars Kenya. Those are the lies ambazo atakuja nazo.
Na kuna swali hapo Lali Mado anauliza, na anauliza vizuri sana. I love what he's asking. Anauliza hivi, I don't know if you can see, let me try to enlarge it kidogo tu. Anauliza hivi, na anauliza swali nzuri sana. Anauliza kwamba African leaders wakienda hiyo, are you able to see?
Yeah, I can see it.
I think I'm able to see. Yeah. This is what Lali Mado is asking, and it's a very pertinent question. He's asking African leaders in Rome for Italy, that is Italy-Africa Summit, how much time and money do they spend going to those conferences outside the continent? How much time? How much money? Because kuna hiyo meeting Russia Africa, US Africa, China Africa, France Africa, Saudi Africa, Turkey Africa, India and Africa, and everyone has a plan for Africa except Africa. Na sasa hata si Africa ati tunakuwa represented na AU, Africa represented by one president from Kenya. What do you make of this, bwana Mr. G?
You know, Jakes, any trip ambayo imemaking a president, a lot of money inatumika. In fact, it's millions of money inatumika for those trips. So kwa si bure. Yeah. And when you see this thing ambao Mado anaongea, anapata Africa, yani Africa it's as if ni kama kwa hatuoni nini, yani hatujui nini tunataka. We are people ambao tumekuwa blessed with everything. Tuko na gold, tuko na everything, tuko na madini yote ambayo inahitajika, but still tumebaki poor. We have people ambao wako na knowledge, wako na any skills, but still tumebaki poor. Yeah, there's a problem with Africa. Now I think we need to liberate ourselves. That's why kulikuwa na hii Pan-African hii movement ambayo ingetusaidia, but sasa huyu ambaye anapapoti kwa is a Pan-African ni muongo. We will not lead us to that place ambayo tunapata tufike, because we need to deliver ourselves from this minds, hizi captivity ambayo tuko ndani yake, because we are blessed in Africa, we have everything, but tuna end up kuwa poor every day, poor. Alafu sasa shida, the leaders that we are having them, the corrupt leaders ambao wanatudanganya kila wakati wakituibia. Hii trip kwa Kenya haikuwa na maana yote, but mama kuspend millions of money aende tu kule those days ambao atakaa siku ngapi pale, na amebeba pia watu agenda peke yake, amebeba watu wakae pale spend a lot of money ya taxpayers. Akikuja wanafunzi bado wameshindwa kupata pesa kwenda shuleni, anadanganya watu kwa projects ziko no project. Anasema ametenga sijui pesa ngapi.
Okay, all right. Allow me kidogo ni involve pia wale wana participate kwa comment section. Naona wengi wanatuma ujumbe zao. Thank you very much watu wa comment section. Karibuni kwa show. Show yenyu nayo ndio hii. Akina Remos Yegon wako ndani, akina Wood Midenge. Asante sana. Penyagaka Goodian mini ambao mnatuma ujumbe, asante sana. Now, I would want to know even from them, some of these trips, how much do Africans spend? Wacha tuache kuongelea Africa as a continent, wacha turudi home, because ati sisi ndio tuko poa sana mpaka tunafaa tutumie all the resources we have in some of these trips. Uganda waliskype hii meeting, all right? Tanzania waliskype hii meeting, okay? Na si ati they are badly off or they are better off or they equally don't need the money or they need the money more than we do, but they chose to Skype. But our president chose to attend, despite him saying going forward, ni 5 representatives from AU who should be there. Hata president in fact ni kama hakusema wawe, but he is there. The money question here, who gives this money? See, I'm sure it is from our coffers. Ama zinatokanga wapi hizi do bwana Mr. G? I don't think some of these things are funded from the source. They're not sourced from the meeting when you're Moaita. I don't know if they pay for these presidents to attend the meeting ama mtu anajilipia.
Hakuna, hii ni mtu anajipea, but you know, umesema you want to involve our people in our comment section. I want Ramsey. You know, unaona huyu Yegon nataka atujibu hiyo swali. Huyu Yegon manake kwa anasema anajua kila kitu. He knows everything. So Yegon, hebu jibu hiyo swali.
Leo umeamua kuandika watu wa comment section, but ni sawa tu. I think
no, Yegon kwa anakuwa hivyo. Unaona Yegon kila wakati ukicomment anakuambia opposite. So I want him,
guys, sometimes they only jengea siku. Anasema Pan-Africanism will never work and it just a fiction. It's just fiction, eh?
So, in fact, he should join. He should join the show.
Yegon ni jamaa wetu sugu wa comment section na nampendea hapo wakiwa na kina Goodia, so they are equally doing a good job for now. But equally, let me ask you this, when you look at let's go back to, because we are now done the first hour, let's go back to what this lady, what do you call her, Wamuchomba was saying. She equally asked a question: is the plan working? Because all this, yeah, easy trips, they are spending some money and everything, eh? Zinatunyonya sisi. I'm not sure all of these trips were in the plan. So the question she asked, at this rate, is the plan still working? From where you see it, the plan, the president's manifesto, is it working? Ama atasema pia imesimamishwa na Makoti, of course, which is true.
There were no plans, bana. Mr. Jakes, any person ambaye ako na plans, you will see the plan. Utaona at least that sign of a plan. But this is a guy ambaye always play as a victim. That's the point that you want to, you have to get it, Mr. Jakes. The guy amekuwa play as a victim. Sasa anatumia wrong method, wrong, is it wrong strategy? No. Anatumia unconstitutional way kupata kitu, wakati koti inapinga, he comes out as a victim. Anaanza kulalamika akisema ameonewa. You see? Anakuja nje akionekana kama ameleonewa, but for me I know that the guy hakuwa na plan. Na kama alikuwa na plan, then amefika kwa State House akakuwa confused, amekuwa blind, haoni tena ile plan ambayo alikuwa nayo. In case alikuwa nayo, then sasa yako blind kabisa, haoni. Na in case hakuwa nayo, basi ni ukweli hakuwa nayo. Because at the moment nothing is working for him. Nothing is working. Huyu Yegon alituambia, no, it's not Yegon, ni the other guy, Ruto. I love that Ruto, you know, the Ruto anapenda kuja hapa sana, leo sijamuona. That guy, that guy hatupatani. Yeah, kwa hatupatani kwa nini? What I believe in na what yana believe in, the opposite things. There are two things that are opposite, but I love him the way he always argue. Anasema, akakuwa anatuambia juzi kuwa affordable housing is a game changer. Ndio anataka akuja hapa ajaribu kutuexplainia tuweze kuelewa a game changer how, because those are the plans ambazo Ruto alikuwa nazo. It is a game changer how, because mimi sioni kama is a game changer. Hiyo ni vitu tu za matajiri wanakuja kubenefit. Yegon jana alikuwa anatuambia kuwa affordable houses is a game changer kwa sababu kila mtu anataka aishi kwa affordable houses, which is their plan ya Ruto. Sawa, but now this plan ilikuwa kwa matajiri ama ilikuwa kwa hustlers? Ilikuwa kwa hustlers. Who's hustler mgani ambaye ataweza afford 300,000 plus 350,000 plus? Hustler mgani? Hakuna hustler yote. Some of us tunafanya kazi but kupata hiyo pesa mara moja tuwezi pata. You see? Yeah, some of us tumeandikwa but kupata hiyo pesa tuwezi pata mara moja. Sasa the hustler, the mama mboga, huyu mtu ambaye hawezi pata 1,000 kwa siku, ni lini atapata hiyo 300,000? These people that are saying it is a game changer, watapata lini waweze kuchukua hizo nyumba? The guy had no plan.
Oh, kuna kitu nimekumbuka. Pole na kurudisha nyumba. Kwa hii speech ya William Ruto the president, there's something he has said that imenikumbusha something. When you listen to him, able listen the first few words.
As usual, we have these meetings, Africa, US meeting, Africa, Europe, Africa, Turkey, Africa,
India.
Now we are waiting for, there is another one, Africa, Russia.
And Africa, Japan.
And Africa, Japan. We have made the decision that it is not intelligent for 54 of us to go and sit before one gentleman from another place. And I mean, and sometimes we are mistreated.
Yeah.
You know, we are loaded into buses like school kids. You know?
Bas, hapo kwa kuwa mistreated na kuwekwa kwa basi kama watoto wa shule. Swali yangu ya kwanza ilikuwa ni the time niliona wamewekwa kwa basi ni ile mazishi walikuwa wameenda ya Queen. All right. So what do you make of him complaining of being mistreated? Na some of these trips, like awangebebwa na gari moja and the country was in a morning state, watu walikuwa wengi, so they had to find a way ya kumanage crowd, ya kumanage everyone, both dignitaries and presidents and anyone coming to England. So to you, what was wrong with managing crowd like that? And how, and kubebwa na basi? Kwani is it demeaning for a president kubebwa na basi?
It is not demeaning. You know, Jex, there's something.
Suluhu walibebwa na basi, wote walibebwa na basi. Why was it demeaning?
And no one complained. Kwa watu wote ambao walibebwa, no one complained, but ni yeye pekee ana complain. You know, there's something we have been speaking out on this channel, na tukisema kuwa this guy ni mtu ambaye ako na kiburi fulani. He always tend kuonyesha kuwa anajua sana mambo mengi. Yeye ndio mtu ambaye anajua vile mambo inafaa ifanywe more than any other people. Sasa anasema kuwa people are mistreated. Nani amekuwa mistreated? Kwa sababu kubebwa kwa basi sioni kama that is mistreated. You are being mistreated ukibebwa kwa basi. No. In fact, kwanza basi ambao alibebwa si atakuwa na finyana, kila mtu alikuwa ameketi kwa kiti yake. Hakuna mtu alikuwa amesimama. Yeah, so there's nothing like mistreated. This is what alikuwa anatumia. The guy anapenda propaganda. Unakumbuka wakati alikuwa kwa former government, he was a deputy president, enjoying every privilege of a deputy president, but still anakuja anasema kuwa ametupwa nje, amesukumwa nje, amepelekwa opposition. Unakumbuka alikuwa ana complain. So is a guy ambaye anapenda complain. Yeah.
Na kama wanakuwa mistreated, mbona anaenda basi? Because he has made over 50 now, over 50 trips majuu. Why go if you are mistreated?
Unajua Jex, kuna msemo inasema kwa Kiswahili, wakati wa nyani kufa miti zote hutereza. Yeah, this guy wakati alikuwa anajifanya kwa yeye ndo anajua what's supposed to be done in the country, akiongea kwa yeye ndo akiongea kwa we need to be represented by CG chairman, we need to be represented by CG who. Sahi unashangaa mbona ameenda kule? He's blind. Sasa anakuwa exposed. Yani what I'm trying to say ni kwa he's being exposed. Yani anakuwa exposed the lies ambazo ziko ndani yake, the propaganda ambayo ana believe in, everything inakuwa exposed sahi.
Yeah. All right. Now I see Alex is in, and equally this is a conversation Alex one time loved. I remember him talking about it with me some days back. Alex, how are you? I wish to invite you on this. This was when we were talking about the president's interview with Mo Ibrahim. on governance and everything. And here he complained about African presidents being taken to, or rather being summoned in these US, sorry, not US, these white countries, and wakienda wanakuwa mistreated, wanakuwa stashed in buses and all. So akasema from there henceforth watakuwa wanatuma representative. So jana alienda Italy, and that alone has caused a debate, and today we were looking at things that have been happening hapo kwa Twitter. Lali Madowo ndo alianzisha hii conversation because he was asking the president, kuna time alisema hatarudi kwenda, in fact atarudi kutuma representative, but hey, lo and behold tulimuona akienda. No East African president went. He is the only one who went, despite him saying from here henceforth. I'm sure you remember the conversation between him and Ibrahim. So what do you make of him going back to what he had said? Because this day when he said what he said, he received a standing ovation. People clapped for him because of saying that. Then days later, the meeting he was castigating, that's the same meeting he attends. What do you make about it?
This is a pathological liar who doesn't know what to say, Mr. Jenks. This is a
How
person,
are you?
and this is a person
Mm-hmm.
who is confused,
Mm-hmm.
and his appetite for money takes him there. He will never stop, especially now that the housing levy imetolewa. He needs let me talk to you later. Niko in a government
All
office
right.
wameniita.
All right, nakusikia. All right, Cosmas, I see you are equally part of this. I know umeingia for a reason. And equally, I'm glad that you are in. Asante sana for being part of the show. Let me ask you, what do you make of the president double speak? Anasema hatakuwa na attend, kidogo kidogo ndo huyo ameattend. Anasema we'll be sending representatives. The representatives were there. The representative was there, but he equally was there. I know you have seen the photos circulating in our Twitter and all, and the questions being peddled by Rally Madol and of course Boniface Mwangi. What do you make of it, Bwana Cosmas?
Thank you so much, Mr. Jax. So my take is that I think Mr. Ruto, or let me just call him President Ruto, I think there's one thing that he doesn't know, and that is he doesn't know how to delegate or to like I've seen from the time he came into office, even from the time he was campaigning, like he's somebody who doesn't know how to delegate, is very hands-on. He wants to do everything by himself. So if you ask me, I don't see the reason why he went to this meeting, because from what I saw, it was a climate change kind of meeting. So maybe he should have just sent one of his ministers to go and represent him there. So there was no need for him to go there. And him talking about African leaders being bundled into buses, I think that is something which is expected. So what do you expect when a vast majority of African leaders, they don't do much to empower their citizens? They don't do much to develop their countries. So when it comes to the global stage, of course, our Ishimiwi, because they're not doing anything. So I feel it all boils down to that. There is not that much respect for an African head of state going anywhere. So I think that's just the reality of the times, and it should just know that, and just know that in today's global hegemony, as an African head of state, I mean, you have no say at all. Like, you're just a puppet. Like, you can just be shoved around. You're told what to say, what to do. The IMF tells you the kind of policies you have, you need to implement for them to give you loans and whatnot. And it's because these African leaders, they don't listen to their people, the people who put them into power. And some of them, like Mr. Ruto, they actually get into power through lies and through conmanship. So when they get there, they are, they begin now, pleasing their masters, the masters who actually put them in that position. So I think for me, it doesn't come as a surprise. He's like, he's somebody who, he wants to be president. Like, he's the president, he's the deputy president, he's all the ministers. He doesn't know how to delegate. He's hands-on, he's everywhere. So I think that's a problem. And I feel like this job with no time, because he's human like any other. With no time, it's going to overwhelm him, because he can't be everywhere doing everything, at the same time. So it's really going to take a toll on him with time. And it's just what I can say is that he's full of double speak. So like, you've played that clip of him saying that, like, he felt disrespected when they went to the king's coronation, and there were all these African leaders were bundled inside a bus. And then now he's gone back there, and he had said that as Africans, it's very disrespectful when when they go there as presidents. Like, when one country summons like 54 African presidents to a summit, and then they all, and then now, like, he's doing the exact opposite. So it like him to mwenye ajelewi, like he's flopping. I think that's all I can say. Like, he's just an embarrassment.
Now,
okay, Cosmos. Yes, Jex. I had a question to Cosmos.
Go ahead.
As much as I agree with everything that Cosmos has said, now the question was on this issue of being frustrated. When these guys were on the bus, really, were they mistreated when they were on the bus? Did we had any other president apart from Ruto complain that when they were put on the bus, maybe walikuwa frustrated, walikuwa wamekuwa demeaned, walionekana kama watu ambao hawafai because they come from Africa? I agree with everything that you have said, Cosmos, but now on this issue of them kuweka kwa basi, was it a mistreat to them?
I mean, a president. So let me just try and put myself in his shoes. So for him, maybe he thought that because he's a president of a country, so he thought that he deserved maybe to be given his own, either traveling in his own motorcade, in his own car or something. So I think he felt like he was entitled. But like I'm saying, being an African in this day and age, it carries very little weight in the global stage. Because why? Because these African presidents, these white people have realized that these African presidents, they don't do much to empower their citizens. So that's why even you see there are so many Africans, flocking to go to the US, to go to the UK, to go to all these Western countries. Why? Because the situation back in their country, it's very bad. So a time comes when these African presidents actually, begin to develop their countries and to stay home much more instead of like traveling anyhow to empower the citizens. I think this kind of treatment where they are just like people, when they go to these countries, they get that kind of treatment that a president deserves. So I think until a time comes when they begin to see that they need to empower their citizens more, develop their countries, and that will ultimately give them sort of some respect when it comes to the global stage. But for me, I felt like maybe for him, alikuwa anaona kama he's entitled because he's a president, so he deserved to have gone to that king's coronation with his own motorcade and whatnot. But he's just a president of an African country. And like I'm saying, in today's world, the hegemony is that these African countries, they don't know how to govern themselves. Poverty, all kinds of problems. These African leaders have failed to address this problem. So these Western powers and leaders, they don't take them seriously. So it's just like,
but
it's like them trying to tell them, they don't take you seriously. That's why you are putting you in a bus.
Now,
but Cosmas,
just one moment. I wanted to also ask a question to Cosmas, Mr. G. You have said something interesting that we Africans, when will we be treated with dignity in these countries, because we are not doing very well in our countries in Africa. And equally, let me ask, how can we be treated so well, yet the best we do at times is go borrow. We go on a borrowing spree. We go to this country, we borrow every place we go. Kenya went to India the other day, we borrowed 38 billion. I'm sure because he'll be meeting the leaders of IMF and World Bank and some of these countries. I'm sure he'll still come with some goodies. Will we get respect when the best we do is to borrow left, right, and center? Cosmas?
Yeah, I think for for us as Africans to get respected in the global stage, I think number one, we need to improve on our leadership style. Like, we need to put people who are patriots, people who are genuinely patriots, people who have the best interest of their citizens at heart. We need to put these kind of people in power, and most importantly, these people have to be people of high integrity. So I think it's first we need to improve on our governance, because Africa, the problem of Africa is a problem of bad leadership. So if you can get good people, in these leadership positions, people who can work for the interest of the people who got them there, I think that is the first step towards that. Because the reason why we go borrow to this country, it's because we as Africans, we've been unable to harness the vast, because Africa is a very rich continent. Like, we have blessed with so much natural resources, so much human resources, but it's just because we don't know how to tap into these blessings that we have as Africans. So we have to go borrow elsewhere. Well, if we had people who have ideas and ideas on how to harness what we have, we can be self-sufficient. And I think there's a guy, I think some days back, who said that another problem we have as Africans is that the people with power don't have ideas, and the ones that have good ideas that can make us prosper, make us more self-sufficient, don't have the power. I think that's the irony. So if we can work on our leadership, on making sure that people vote, or people choose leaders, regardless of tribe or a religion, people vote for leaders who have the best interests of them at heart. I think that is the way to go. That is the beginning point.
All right. Mr. G, you had a question? Mr. G, you had a question?
Yeah, the question was about does hiyo time ya matanga on the issue ya Queen, wakati Queen akawa amekufa, the question was about being mistreated. I wanted to tell Cosmos that as much as I agree with everything that he's saying, on that point, at that time, I don't think if it was a mistreatment, kwa sababu I remember all heads of state walikuwa nabebwa na basi. Even those other head of state, I only remember is only one man, the United States president ndo alikuja na gari yake peke yake, but those other heads of state na wale ambao ni kings, wale ambao ni leaders, they are all being carried by buses. They were being ferried by buses. Hata wale countries zingine wa Europe wa wapi wote, they were being ferried by buses. So I don't think if it was just a mistreat. No, it was not a mistreat. On the issue ambao mwongea of leadership, we have leaders. Okay,
Go
on
ahead,
the issue
Mr.
of
G.
leadership, yeah, on the issue of leadership, I agree with you that sometimes what nakosea because of tribalism and also because of because of community. Mimi ni mtu kama mimi ni Mkalenjin, I'm voting for a Kalenjin. Remember, we had a Kalenjin. This guy, the former 90 MP. Huyu ni mtu ambaye amejali watu wake sana. Ni mtu ambaye ukimwangalia unapata ni mtu ambaye anajali watu wake. But because of that, ile mfurugano kidogo ya chama na nini, alikosa hiyo kiti. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu ya tribalism na kwa sababu ya chama pia. Some people vote because of chama. Na this is something ambayo inatuharibia sana. Kama sisi ni watu ambao tuko kwa opposition. Some of us kwa sababu mtu ni mzuri, lakini kwa sababu ana oppose Raila unapata hizi votiwa. And this is something that is destroying our country. I agree with you that we need to vote people with the ideology. We need to vote people who can help us. Very true. But sasa tutatoka wapi? Tutatoka kwa hii hali vipi? Kwa sababu this is something ambayo imekuwa mostly kila wakati. It is kitu ambayo inaendelea. Inarika every time and then. Tunapata somebody ni mzuri, lakini kwa sababu kwa chama nyingine ambao si chama yako. Okay, let me put it in a very elaborate way. Kama sisi watu wa Azimio, sometimes unaweza pata somebody from UDA government ama KK government amefanya kitu mzuri, but because we are from Azimio hatuoni anything, we are blind on it, hatuoni anything good from that government, you see. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu tuko kwa Azimio, and this is something ambayo inatuharibu. So I don't know how to come out of this thing ili tuweze ku appreciate anything that is done mzuri. Na as much as we want to appreciate, pia lazima tukubali kuwa mtu akiwa amekosa. But I agree with you Cosmas, everything ambayo umesema it's very true. Africa tumelala, tumebarikiwa na Mungu, we have gold, we have everything. Si ndo tungekuwa the richest continent, but tumebaki kuwa the poorest continent. Ni watu ambao hatuelewi, tumebaki kuwa watu wa kukopa, watu wa kuombaomba. Watu wetu hawawezi fanya hata kazi in Africa. We have best doctors in Africa, but wametoka wameenda kufanya kazi India, wameenda kufanya kazi Japan, wameenda kufanya kazi America, and yet we have everything, knowledgeable people we have in Africa, but hatuwezi jiendeleza. Yani ni kama kuna laana fulani in our continent ambayo imetushika. We are in slavery yani.
Yes, Cosmo.
Yeah. So I wanted to just say something regarding what Mr. Dia said, because nasikia ni kama ameuliza swali moja very it's a very good question. How can we come out of this situation? I think like I was saying, the first one is making for us to sort of work on our leadership, on making sure that we put people who are of high integrity, people who are patriots, people who are forward thinking into critical positions. That's the first step. But now there's a caveat, because in very many African countries, and Kenya included, the politics is normally very bad, because our politics are very tribal. So so now, as you're saying, it's very hard for somebody who has ideas in Kenya, for example, to run for president if it doesn't come from one of the big tribes, let's say, because the way politics and the way voting has been for the longest time in Kenya, it has been very tribal. And for example, why isn't somebody who's a patriot, in my own opinion, like Raila Odinga, being able to climb to the presidency? It's because of this tribal kind of voting, So I think that's the second thing. We need to move away from this tribal voting, because right now the guy that is in power, Mr. Ruto, even the people that voted for him is, let me say, the people from his ethnic community, they're suffering. So it's like there's no point in putting one of your, like, quote unquote, somebody from your tribe into those, into the presidency, because whether you put him there or you don't put him there, we're still suffering. So I think we need to come out of that kind of voting, because it all comes down to voting, because voting is how we get leaders. So we need to work on that a lot. And there's one thing also I wanted to say. You're saying that you don't think that all 54 African presidents, or the ones that went to that king's coronation, being bundled into a bus. You don't think that that's a mistreatment? Well, for me, I think it's mistreatment. And why? Have you ever asked yourself why, for example, the Prime Minister of Israel, when he goes somewhere, let's say he goes for a foreign trip, when he's giving a speech at the UN, why the UN assembly, that General Assembly, it's packed. And Israel is a very tiny, very small country that doesn't even, it's like even the size of a county in Kenya. Why? Because, countries that have, countries, regardless of the size, if countries take time to develop themselves, to empower their citizens, to build strong institutions, those countries and the citizens of those countries and their leaders, they gain respect on the global stage. Another example is the Prime Minister of Singapore. Singapore, mind you, used to be a British colony like Kenya, but today Singapore is richer than its colonial master, Britain, because Singapore has a very high GDP per capita. It's very rich. So I'm saying these African leaders need to travel less. They need to work on improving the situation and the conditions in their home countries first. They need to empower their citizens. They need to work towards seeing that their citizens don't feel that urge to go to these Western countries to make their dreams come true. They need to make them feel like they can achieve their dreams while in those countries, and then through that, over time, of course, that can't be done overnight, but over time, they will start earning respect from these Western leaders. And even a time might come when a president of an African country, so let's say they go to the UK, let's say for a king's coronation, they might even be given their own motorcade. But that time isn't now, because right now it's just African countries don't have much, like people can just ignore them, like nobody takes them seriously because they have proven that they don't know how to govern themselves, in short.
All right.
I don't
Now, let me do this. Sorry, I'm muting you, sir, because of the echo. I want to come to something else that you fine gentlemen, I wanted to discuss and help me discuss this. It's about the housing issue. Of course, the courts put a stop to it. I'll be playing just now what the MPs from Kenya Kwanza have decided to do in as far as that is concerned. But there is a statement by one Pauline Joroge, which equally was trending today. And many say that what she said has some truth in it. She was trying to expose some cartels and some people who are beneficiaries of this housing levy and the ones who feel very aggrieved if it were to stop. I want to listen to this. And Cosmos, I'll be coming to you and Mr. G with two questions pertaining this. Then we go to what UDA guy said.
There is a court ruling on affordable housing, and it has become almost very personal. The fight is almost personal. So wakienda kwa rally na kwa juu ya magari wanasema the reason they are fighting is because they want to use that program to create employment for our young people. But do you know why that is a lie? If they really cared about creating employment for our young people, vile waliingia kwa serikali, kuna vitu wangeanza kufanya. Ya kwanza ni kuensure bei ya mafuta haipandi. La pili ni kuensure that production of commodities has gone down. If you want to create employment, manufacturing is a key factor in any country in creating employment. Lakini sasa waliingia wakaanza kuimport kila kitu kutoka nje. Cartels zikashikana, cartels of friends of the president wakashikana, wakaleta mafuta. Si ndio walifanya mafuta ya kupika, they brought edible oil. What happened? Companies that produce edible oil had to fire people, had to retrench because they can no longer afford to they can no longer afford to pay employees because they are not, whatever they are producing is not being bought. So how can they be telling us they are creating employment, yet zile kampuni ziko zina produce kutoka hapa nchini zinahaa kufunga ama zinahaa kuretrench sababu mmeenda mmeleta kila kitu kutoka nje. Kule Mwea wakulima walikuwa wanalia, tuko na mchele yetu hapa, tumepanda, tumevuna, lakini mchele inaletwa kutoka wapi? Kutoka nje. Duty free. People make billions with those duty free importation. Mkulima alikuwa beti ameajiri watu 3 4 sababu wanapanda mchele, akahapu wafanya nini? Akahapu kukotoa kazi. So everything they have done systematically, they have been reducing employment in this country. They have been leading to their actions have led to closing of companies retrenching, but they are telling us they are building houses. And we know the reason they are very personal about that issue of affordable housing ni sababu wamejipatia supply ya hizo vitu zote zitajenga hizo nyumba. Mambo ya simiti ni wao, mambo ya zile steel zitatumika ni yao. Hivyo they have given themselves all those tenders to supply for the building of those houses, of that housing project. Wakituambia ni ati employment wanataka to create. If they want to create employment in this country, let them work on the dollar so that investors can keep coming. Let them work on reducing the cost of production in this country so that different companies, manufacturing can thrive in this country, cottage industries can thrive in this country, and when they make the business environment work, we will not need them to build houses or to tax people to build houses in the name of their creating employment. If they allow the business environment to work, if they make the cost of doing business in this country, come down, then the jobs will naturally come. But sasa kutuambia ati hii nyumba ndio italeta makazi, na ni wao wanajitekelezea kazi, ni hata mgani ataweza kununua nyumba for 3 million. It's all a lie, it's all manipulation.
Right. There's a lot she has said, and it really made and resonated with many. One of the things she has said, and I think it's true, when we had drought, we saw the government allow duty-free products. Sugar, you remember, ikaleta scandal. Mafuta, edible oil, you remember, ikaleta scandal. In fact, mpaka wakaleta ingine yenye haikuwa fit for human consumption. So, and eventually, mkulima mwenye alikuwa na food, chakula yake bado it will still be very competitive in the market kwa sababu itakuja ishindane na hii chakula ambayo imeingia duty free. Now she was asking, how was that creating jobs? Mr. G, when you look at some of the actions from this government, some have really cost us billions of shillings, if not trillions, because some actions have only benefited a few. Before even I come to the housing question, which is asking, because I've always wanted to ask this question, that we are building houses. Have you seen tenders advertised in the in government notices or gazette notices or in newspapers or even on TV for people to apply, for companies to send in their bids, so as we get those who will supply at affordable prices and make that process competitive? Ama, how was the process initially? Because some of these things ni maswali sugu ambazo anauliza, because are we benefiting a few in the name of affordable houses, in the name of duty-free importation, at the expense of our mwananchi, the farmer, mwananchi, the investor, mwananchi, the builder, mwananchi, the supplier, mwananchi, the industries in Kenya? Eventually, we are still saying we are doing, or what we are doing, we are creating jobs. Do you agree with her sentiments, Mr. G?
I resonate with what Pauline is saying. She's saying, Mr. Jakes, this issue, like, let's talk about the oil issue. The oil issue, do you know that when they brought in those oil, your mafuta, the companies, zilikuwa affected. Like in Mombasa, we have a company called Kapa Oil Refinery, ambao huwa inatengeneza mafuta. ya mboga. It was affected, in fact watu walifutwa kazi kwa sababu ilikuwa iwezi kuuza mafuta yake tena. A lot of companies zilikuwa affected. So I resonate with what Pauline is saying, but before I continue, there's something ambao Gudi amesema on the issue of Queen Elizabeth and the burial. I can tell Gudi ya kuwa Joe Biden aliattend that funeral. Hakutuma mtu, walikuwa na bibi yake na aliattend that funeral. Okay, going back to what you have asked, Pauline amesema kuwa ni tenders ni wenyewe ambao wanachukua. Is very true. You know, this is what we call government, the state capture, whereby they are doing things on the benefit of themselves. Ni hao wenyewe wanajibenefit, not mwananchi wa chini, even though wanadanganya wananchi wa chini kuwa wanapatiana kazi, wana create kazi. But the same way I told you, Mr. Jakes, you know, for anybody who want a country to develop or a country to grow, obviously ataangalia issue na business, ataangalia issue na creating of jobs. You know, if this president angeza to create an environment ambayo iko conducive for businessmen to work, for people, investors, private investors to come in and build industries, even on this lands ambazo anachukua kusema anajenga affordable housing, because this affordable housing akidanganya kuwa ni ya hustlers, si ya hustlers. No hustler ataweza kuchukua, ataweza pata 350,000 akuja peana deposit ya kuishi kwa hiyo nyumba. Hakuna hustler hata manage kulipa 12,000 every month. Huyu mtu ambaye hawezi pata 1,000 a day hataweza kupata hiyo. So the affordable housing ambayo anaongea, this is just a scam. What Pauline is saying ni kuwa angeangalia create conducive environment for businessmen and private sectors, wa come in, wa build industries, wajenge companies whereby our people can be employed na wapate a permanent solution on the issue of mambo ya kazi. People have learned, have degrees, have credentials. Watu wameenda shuleni, wameenda colleges. You cannot tell me that mtu ataenda some university apate credentials zake amalize
Mr. G,
college apate kujenga nyumba ya watu ambao wako chini. Most, even though si na darau, no, but mostly kujenga nyumba au watu kujenga nyumba kwa mostly ni watu ambao hawajamaliza shule. You see, so hakuna vile unaweza kuja ukaniambia mtoto amaliza university, amesoma, amemaliza college, alafu hata anakuja kujenga nyumba, hata hiyo ni kazi umempatia. That is backwardness. We need to build industries, we need to build companies. Wakipata kazi wanapata a permanent solution. Si mtu ambaye anakuja kupata 500 shillings a day afanye mwaka mzima, and yet pesa ambayo anapata ni hand to mouth. Ezi save, ezi jenga nyumba yake mwenyewe, ezi fanya anything. This issue of housing si ati ni urgency, kwa sababu kila mtu ako na shamba kwao. I have my own shamba at home. Hata kama bado sijamaliza kujenga ama sijaanza hata kujenga, but I have my own shamba. So hiyo isikue kama ni first priority. As much as we want to grow, we want to have to live in a affordable housing, but we need first of all to put our people in a place whereby they can, and wanaweza kujitegemea wenyewe by giving them a permanent solution, which is a good job, a permanent job. Si mambo ya kujenga nyumba after 3 months imeisha, mtu amekosa kazi. People were affected.
Mr. G,
walipoleta hizo maswali,
how comes mwananchi ataambiwa kuhusu the manual work, you know, the plumbing, mtu wa mkono, mtu wa stima, lakini hatapewa the bigger chunks of that infrastructure, for example architectural, for example what do you call this, supply, because hizo ndio zinabeba pesa nzuri. Why is it those ones are silent but what is so loud ni hizi kazi za mikono? Why is there some degree of fishiness in how we are dishing out these jobs? As much as I agree we need the houses, I agree we need the employment, but equally shouldn't this employment equally be competitive? Wacha waweke tender. Maybe I can supply timber, maybe I can supply cement, maybe I have a company that can provide metal or steel or anything construction that they need, material that they need. Why is it that mwananchi anaachiwa that kazi ngumu, kazi yenye hata malipo ni duni, lakini ile poa hiyo inawekwa silent, inafichwa, inakuwa ni watu wachache tu wanajua, na hao ndo wanachukua hizi tenders? Why is it so? Why is it not a competitive process? Why is it why doesn't it have a holistic approach? Venye wanachukua pesa kwa kila mtu, mbona pia wasipe kila mtu nafasi ya kuparticipate in terms of kubid kwa hizi tenders, kubid katika kutafuta nafasi za kusupply na kuwa pia miongoni mwa wale wana benefit. Mbona wakati wa pesa ni kila mtu, lakini wakati wa kazi mwananchi apewe ile mzito kabisa, lakini zile ambazo ni, can I call them soft but with good money, zinaachio selected few.
That won't happen, Mr. Jex. It won't happen. Let me take you back. Unakumbuka wakati wa nini, wakati wa ile scandal ambayo ilibeba Waiguru. We have people ambao walikuwa wanatengeneza company in one day, mtu anatengeneza company 20. One person ako na company 20. Mwingine ana supply hewa lakini anapata billions of money. Mwingine ana supply sijui nini, vitu ambazo haziko, anapata money. The same thing. Na this is a scandal. Hii issue ya housing is a scandal. Tayari companies zishatengenezwa. You see, these people walituambia vizuri, this is time yao ya kukula. This is hii ni company, time yao ya kukula. So obvious watu washatengeneza kampuni zao, so they are waiting for billions of money kwanza kuwekwa ndani, so that they can tell us kwa wamesupply sijui timber, wamesupply sijui nini, but ni wao kwa wao wanakula. And this is what Njoroge is talking about. Hakuna vile mwananchi wa chini atafaidika kwa hii kitu. Mwananchi wa chini ataendelea kusukuma mawe, ataendelea kuumiwa, akisukuma hiyo wheelbarrow, akibeba mchanga, anaumia. Even though at the end of the day anatoka na 200, anatoka na 500, sawa, atakula hiyo 500, but kesho yake tena inabidi arudi pale ndio aweze kula. Akilala siku moja hawezi kula, so he has to go there again, apate hiyo 200, arudi tena akule, aende tena apate another thing, na hiyo ni kuumia, hiyo ni mateso. Let's have a permanent solution. Vile anasema kwa anakuja ati Kenya vijana wameumia sana kwa sababu hakuna president ameweza kaa chini akawafikiria, akakuwa na plan ya kuwapatia kazi. What he's doing, what president is doing, hii si kupatia watu kazi. Give people permanent solution, give people permanent jobs. Mtu anaweza kupata 50,000, mtu anaweza kupata 100,000, anaweza jijenga mwenyewe. Hata si can afford life. Si mambo 500 maana kwa siku moja hata 500 yenyewe haitoshi. So what I'm saying ni kuwa it will not happen in Kenya. Corruption imetuharibia. Greedy kwa wakubwa. In fact, this government ambayo iko sahi, greedy iko juu sana. That's why hizo tenda wamejipatia wao kwa wao. Mwananchi wa chini hawezi pata. So they have to eat money. Ni time yao kukula. Mwananchi ataendelea kuteseka hivyo. That's why we are telling them we need to look for leaders ambao wanaweza tufikiria. Leaders ambao wanatujali. Somebody who can fight for us.
Na Mr. G, kuna hii part ingine ya kwamba our economy literally has had some various challenges. Why can't we address some of them as a matter of urgency? For example, the issue of the dollar, and of course someone would say dollar it improved tukianza kuwa na more exports. But then again, are we even doing so much? Are we working very hard to increase our exports? Are we things that have made the dollar be as it is at the moment? Because it's seriously falling. Like we are at 167. Others are saying very soon tutakuwa at 200. Why is it we are unable to manage our resources, our spending, our, because one of the things, control our budget, alisema, we have a serious issue on how we are spending. We are on a spendthrift. We don't have enough, for starters. We don't have enough. And what we have, we spend it on things that can wait, like renovating the State House. That's the president yuko sahi. So
exactly.
We don't even need to renovate it. Now, in any case, he has, So what do you make
look
of
at
it?
that
Because
issue of
so many things that we can do to reduce spending, equally to strengthen our economy and even improve that. What do you make of all that?
Like this issue of renovation, State House renovation. I don't think if it is necessary. Because I will see there's a leakage in State House. There's no leakage in State House, but they're using billions of money. But before you continue, Mr. Jex, I have seen my friend
in JKIA.
Yeah, okay. But before we come to that, Mr. Jex, before we come to that, nimeona rafiki yangu pale Ruto. As much as we disagree in ideology, we don't believe in same things. Nilikuwa na encourage aweze kuingia leo because he's the person ambaye amekuwa akisema kuwa housing is a game changer. So Ruto, as much as we don't agree in many things, just ingia kwa show leo utuexplainia tujue hii game changer ya hii housing. ni nini, niweza kukuelewa vizuri. Okay, going back to what you said. No, kwa anaingia. There's a time tulikuwa tunakuwa pale kwa nini? In fact kwa Mtembei alikuwa anaingia anakuja tunaongea hata kama amezima kamera alafu anaenda. And as much as I disagree with him, akuje leo to explain niweze kumuelewa. Okay, going to what you are talking about. In State House there's no leakage. In State House, as much as nyumba ni mzee, si mzee vile. Ni mzee lakini si mzee. I don't see cracks in those house. So why do they have to destroy and to spend more than billions of money at wana renovate, and yet JKA ambao it is a parastatal ambayo inasaidia Kenya in a leakage. Those are things ambao hawezi kuona. Okay, going to dollar ina deteriorate kila siku, yani our shilling ina deteriorate kila siku as much as dollar inaendelea kupanda juu, shilling yetu inaendelea ku display inaitwaje inaitwange kushuka chini. Yeah, inakosa value. Yeah, inakosa value kila siku. Yeah, ina depreciate. Yeah, inakosa value every time, every day inakosa value. In fact, let me tell you, maybe by next week tutakuwa tumefika 200. By next week tutakuwa tushafika 200. And the more inafanya hivyo, the more pia our own people, we cannot import goods kwa sababu ya that dollar. As much as inaendelea kufanya hivyo, people will never import things into Kenya. Kwa sababu dollars may affect businesses. Yeah. So in this country, the problem I think ni wakati the president amecome in, amechukua more of incompetent people. More of incompetent, the greedy people ndo amepatia kazi. You see? So these are the people ambao hawana ile moyo wa kuja kusaidia wananchi. Ni watu wamekuja because of that greediness, wamekuja kukula, ana wamepata nafasi ya kuiba na kukula. That's why unapata we are being taxed every corner, but we cannot see the benefit of that tax ambayo tunalipa.
Alright. Kuna hii wimbo ambayo ina trend na imetushika vibaya sana. In fact, haitaji inchi, lakini inauliza huku ni wapi? Which country is this? I know we don't have a copyright of this. I'll only play it less than a minute. But go listen to this song hapo kwa YouTube. It's an interesting song and it's asking huku ni wapi. I'm telling you, Tanzania wametufanya ile kitu tena. And ladies and gentlemen, even as now we near wrapping the show, I want you to listen to this and tell me what you think of this song. Is it true what this man is saying in the song? And then all right, ladies and gentlemen. Go listen to that song. I'm telling you, Tanzania wametufanya ile kitu. It's a song by jamaa anajiita Nei wa Mitego. I'm telling you, the song ni dope. Na anauliza hii nchi ni gani? I'm sure Mr. G hujasikia hiyo song.
No, sijaisikia. Lakini nitaitafuta niisikie nimuelewe.
Nimekutumia kwa WhatsApp, angalia. I'm telling you, hiyo song kuna venye my friend, it's inafanya ile kitu because he's asking very nice questions. For example, he's asking in a country where we have what do you call it? We have tunaitaje? We have educated people, but they're not working. All right, and the best work that we can do, of course, in story imekuwa ikiendelea kwa social media for quite some time, that sex is what we sell more because we have nothing else to do. That's the best we can now sell. Among many other things. Anasema huko kuna matajiri lakini maskini ndio wanatumika kufanya mambo mengi visivyo. I wish I could play it all, but we're copyright now, but I'm allowed to play anything less than a minute. So, but go listen to that song, and I'm sure wanaume uko nje mtafurahia. I'm sure ladies mtaenjoy your song. Hii Kenya nakwambia huku nje we are not doing so well. Tunachomewa ila hujaiona. I'll be equally showing you a tweet just now of what British had to say, or rather yes, concerning our country in as far as taxes is concerned. But what do you make of the song, Mr. G? Tunajichomea sana ama vipi?
No, unajua huyu jamaa anaimba live things that are happening. Kama sahi, you know, even in this country that we are in, you know, Mr. Jex, kama hauna godfather, hawezi pata kazi. If you don't have somebody akushike mkono, hata kama uko na degree ngapi, hawezi pata kazi. Ndio unapata mtu amesoma but inabidi enda aanze kusukuma maji ya 20 bob, aanze kuuza makaa, kwa sababu if you don't have a godfather huwezi pata kazi. That is how corruption imetufikisha. Hapo ndo mahali corruption imetufikisha. And this is what he just singing. Akiongea kuhusu mambo ya commercial workers, hiyo prostitute. Our girls hawafanyi kazi siku hizi. The only thing they want to do ni ku prostitute because wanataka kuishi maisha mazuri. And I blame our girls kwa sababu some of them wanafanya ni deliberately kwa sababu wanataka pesa. And that's why most of them wanachinjwa bila sababu. Because mtu atakufanya kazi
bwana, hata kama wanachinjwa, I don't think that is what we should even do here, because we should stand against femicide. We should only ask.
I stand against it. I stand against it. Yes, I stand against it. I'm not supporting. I don't support it. What I'm saying ni kwa I blame our young girls ambao wanaingia kwa hivi vitu kwa sababu ya pesa. You see, mtu amedanganya atanapewa 300,000. Unaenda kwa A&B, atunaenda kukaa na mwanaume amekudanganya kwa sababu anakuja kupatia pesa, unaenda kule hata mtu haumjui. This is what I'm talking against. It's not that I'm advocating for things ziendelee. No, I'm against wasichana wetu kuuliwa.
Bro, hii game lazima tujuane. Hii game inashika anywhere. I don't know. Sijui kama ni Jake amesema hiyo statement, but anyway.
No, but Jake, in our country hakuna kazi. Unaona, in our country hakuna kazi. Yeah, in our country kupata kazi mpaka ushikwe na mtu. Now unapata watu kwa sababu ya hiyo hali wameamua kujiingiza mpaka kwa prostitute. Wanaamua kujiingiza kwa prostitute. Kuja hapa Mombasa. You find young girls 15 years, 12 years, less than 20 years wamechukua wazee, wazungu hao wazee. Ndio wanatembea nao siku hizi kwa sababu ya pesa. Yeah. Kwa sababu ya pesa. And now the thing ambao huyu jamaa anaimba is the reality ambayo iko on the ground. Life imebadilika siku hizi.
Well, I'm telling you, your song will slap. Your song will slap. You need to listen to it. It's an interesting song. It's a song ambayo it made my evening. Listen to it and then we see what happens after umeskiza. Kuna kitu nilikuwa nataka kupost kidogo tu. I want to showcase this one. What some Britons were saying. Walikuwa wanahurumia Kenya na taxation yetu. I don't know where nimeweka hiyo post. Iko kwa Twitter, but I cannot find it. Nilikuwa download before for the show. Oh yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah, but let me screenshot it so that I use it as a photo. All right. Now here we go. Now wadau, go listen to that song. Ni by Nei Wamitigo. I'm telling you that song. Hiyo song imeslap. Hiyo song imefanya ile kitu, and no, mimi hapa kama Jakes, I love vitu ambazo zinafanya ile kitu. Alright, okay, so now Mr. G, what imagine sauti zetu zimefika this far. I want to show you this photo. Nime screenshot from NTV, but it's a tweet from kidogo tu, sorry, ina telling you hizi mitambo saa zingine zinakuangushanga, saa zinataka ziwe very fast. All right, there we go. Britain protest Kenya high taxes on its whiskers. What do you make of that tweet?
But Jax, you know, there's no way. Or this issue of taxing high side, you cannot develop, you cannot grow your economy by taxing your people, by taxing everything. You know, hata sahi huyu jamaa analalamika kwa sababu izeda gari zake haziuzwi sasa tena. gari zao hazinunuliwi because of these high taxes. Business are not working. That's why he's just blaming our country. You know, there's something that a president of Ghana spoke some weeks ago. I think in 1 month ago, just 2 to 1 week ago. Aliongea kuhusu issue tax. I wish ungekuwa na hiyo clip ukaplay ukasikia kitu alikuwa anaongea that president, and also the vice president too of Ghana. He spoke about this issue of taxes. Although alikuwa haongelei kuhusu Kenya, but they were talking of the effect ya hii high taxes. So this pretend guy ana protest kwa sababu in Kenya business are not working. People are not importing these vehicles again. That's why he's just protesting. Things are not working. Yeah, high taxation may cost a lot of disadvantage on these people. And Kenya pia wengi business zao hazifanyiki. And he has to come out. Yeah, you know, wakati your business is not working and unajua where the mistake is, you have to call it out. You have to speak out. That's why he's speaking out, because taxation in Kenya, it may affect a lot of things. It may affect the life of people. It may affect businesses. It may affect everything. Yeah.
Sorry,
Ni mtu anafaa angalie kwa hiyo issue.
Na unaona huyu ameenda ku protest na akoma juu. I think anafanya kazi ya, as you rightfully say, anafanya edit ya gari and all. I want to get the whole story for our viewers. 3Y, okay. Taxes, each country has taxes, but why is our taxes unique?
Ziko juu, Mr. Jex, ziko juu sana. Yeah, our taxes zetu ziko juu bana, Mr. Jex. You cannot tax people when sisi tunakuwa taxed, alafu na expect our economy to grow. No. That's why, you know, the more they wanaendelea ku overtax, the more KRA inaendelea ku lose, because watu siku hizi hawaweki pesa kwa nini? Kwa pay bill. Watu siku hizi wanaficha pesa zao. Izaida mtu decide kuchukua, kama ako na business, izaida decide kuchukua cash than putting in a bank, kwa sababu ukiweka kwa bank utakatwa juu kwa juu. So people are trying to avoid paying these taxes. Yeah, people are trying to avoid, kwa sababu it is high, iko juu sana. Look at the middle class people when wamekuwa affected sahi. Most of them wamekuwa affected, wameumia sana na wanalalamika. Yeah, things are not working. The moment una increase taxes, umeua kila kitu.
All right,
as much as you're supposed to pay taxes.
All right, I think I have that link well prepared. Let me read for you even as I wrap up the show for you guys. This is the newspaper. I think it's the Daily Nation. And the Daily Nation, this is what it was saying. I think this was on Sunday, that Britain protests high taxes on its whiskers. I think whiskers is magazine or something. It's whiskers and cars, something like that. The United Kingdom has made an official complaint over the high import duty Kenya charged on some of its products. A senior government official said, in line with East African Community, EAC, Custom Union, Kenya applied a tariff of 35% on imported whiskies. Sorry, new whiskies. Did I say whiskers? Whiskies from the UK. However, the Economic Partnership Agreement the two countries signed set import duties on whiskey from Britain at 25%. The principal secretary for trade, Alfred Obundo Obundo said the UK argued for sorry. I was reading something different. The UK argued for a halt of high tariff, which could contradict. I don't know if you're able to see. Are you able to see what I'm reading? Is it clear?
No, it's not clear. I think you remove the first pick, ile ambayo kumeka ile ya kwanza, ile ya Britain protest Kenya high tax on its whiskey and cars. Remove that one, alafu ingine tuonekana.
Inawazuia Can you be able now to see?
Yeah, hiyo imezuia. Okay, so you can see it, although iko mbali kidogo. Maybe if you can ileta karibu kidogo, you can zoom it kiasi.
All right, but if I zoom it, it loses most of what. Can you be able to see now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
So the Principal Secretary for Trade, Alfred Obondo, K. Obondo, said the UK argued that a halt of high tariff, which would contradict the regional's bloc that is set, that is common external tariff. This was formally presented as a grievance by the UK before the EPA Council, and said K. Obundo, the EPA Council is the decision-making body for the two countries formed. The PS noted that the intention, sorry, I think I'm slightly faster. The PS noted that the intention for the trade department, a technical working committee, was set up to address the problem. Of course, he said we are in a consultation with various state agencies, including Kenya Revenue and Treasury and Kenya Bureau of Statistics, that is KEBS. Of course, he said we're going in consultation. But the UK Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement that was signed allows UK products such as whiskies, cars, and car parts to be charged less than 25%. Now, Bwanaji, there's already a set agreement, all right? The agreement caps it at 25, but Kenya wameweka to 35. Why the marked difference? Yet there is an agreement. There is a working agreement between Kenya and Britain. Yet when it wakifika sasa ni wakati wa kuleta these whiskies and cars, kunakuwa na all these variances. What do you make of it?
You know, Mr. Jet, I think kulikuwa na miscommunication. I don't know if it's miscommunication or it is deliberate. Kwa sababu when you look at how we are taxing people and how things are being done in Kenya, I don't think kama kulikuwa na proper ile negotiation, and it's not negotiation, kuna ile public participation ambayo inafaa ifanyike. Although kwa hii it is an outsider, it is a foreigner who is complaining, but ukweli ni kuwa if there is an agreement, tumeagree kuwa we'll do our business under 25%. There's no need mimi nikuje without even discussing with you this issue ni post that we are going for 35%. No, that is bad. Haifanyiki hivyo. This is a business. Tumeagree on 25%. It should be 25%. There is I don't know if it is misunderstanding on this issue of taxes. I think mtu ana mislead president. And the problem ni kwa pia president hataki kusikia watu. President anaenda na vile anafikiria. Anaenda na vile anajua. Even though ukijaribu kumwambia kwa this is a mistake you are doing, hataki kusikiza. In fact ukimwambia you are making a mistake, hapo ndo mnakwaruzana sasa. So there is a problem. If tumeagree kwa we are going to do a business on 25%, wache baki 25%. Ikiwa unataka ku increase taxes, let's have another discussion another day. We sit down, we discuss and tunabadilisha our agreement. But sasa ukiimpose that taxes, obvious watu watakosa kuimport, and that is what is happening right now. There's no importation of these things kwa sababu ya dola na kwa sababu ya ile taxes ambazo zimewekewa pale. So somebody has import kitu akuja make hasara, and this is a business is whereby you have to make a profit. So in case we import na ile ya kitambo, utakuwa na make losses, and that one wewe utaumia. That's why watu wameogopa. Business is low. Business hazifanyi kwa sababu ya this thing. High taxation im affect businesses. Yeah.
Now the final topic ambao pia imekuwa ikitrend tangu jana is we were to discuss this yesterday, but we were overtaken by events of things. This MP over here, I'm forgetting his good name. He's Mr. Ruben S. Mr. Ruben from Mogotio said something very interesting that rubbed many wrongly. Of course, we know the courts waliheld the housing levy and kutuma mapolisi Haiti and all that. But he went ahead and said, I think it's time tukate mgao ambao tunatuma kotini, or what goes to our courts. When you look at, or rather to the judiciary, the funds that are meant for the judiciary, of course many people have come and really bashed him. In fact, some are even saying the money they receive is not even enough for starters. In any case, they ought to be added. I want, before even I have you respond to this, I want us to listen to him because he makes very interesting remarks that have sent turn wagging and raised eyebrows everywhere, and equally angered and made others feel this was not called for. Let's listen to Mr. Ruben MP Mogotio.
Ambayo ilikuwa Social Insurance Health Fund ilikuwa na nia ya kumeka UAC kuwa affordable kwa kila Mkenya. Mtu mwenye anaketi pale judiciary, mwenye ana mgonjwa kwa hospitali yenye anahangaika kupata pesa ya matibabu, anaenda kwenda kupinga hiyo bill. Plan ya housing ambao Wakenya wetu wengi wanaishi kwa manyumba mbaya na vijana wetu hawana ajira. Mtu mwenye ameketi kule judiciary anaenda kupinga yale bill sababu anataka kuonyesha executive ya kwamba ako na nguvu kuliko executive. Sisi pia parliament tuko na nguvu moja tulipewa kule bunge ya kutengeneza budget. Na bwana chair ya budget, nataka nikuombe, tunapotengeneza budget yenye inakuja, hii judiciary kukataa PF, tunakata budget yao yote mpaka wanapita baiskeli town wakitembea, ndio wajua kwamba maisha ya wale watu wagonjwa ina maana kama vile yao, na hiyo magari yao iko na AC iko na maana, na hiyo manyumba yao iko na AC iko na maana. Maisha ile kijana ana kazi iko na maana kama vile yeye mwenyewe anapatia medical cover. Mkenya yote anahitaji kupewa medical cover. Hiyo budget yao wakikataa kutii na kusikiza maneno, hii mwezi wa pili tunaenda the circle ya budget making, na tuko na nguvu tulipewa pia kikatiba ya kugawa pesa ya Kenya, na chairman yetu hapa tunyonge hiyo budget yao yote, wakuwa wanaomba maji na kutembea na miguu, ndio wajue vile Wakenya hawana kazi wanaishi.
So what do you make of that that statement from that able MP?
You know, Mr. Yes, this is just uncalled for. It is uncalled for. In fact, they are not provoking judiciary, and yet they know that judiciary ni kitu ambayo iko independent. Sasa wakianza kusema kwa, in fact they are provoking them. Wakianza kusema wanataka kuslash this ni budget, and yet judiciary si ati imekataa on any other thing. Wamesema kuwa the things they are doing it is unconstitutional. So hakuna vile unaweza blame judiciary on this. If you want to do something right, na judiciary itasimama na wewe itakwambia kweli this one is right na ifuate. But now if something is unconstitutional and now you are forcing it your way, that one cannot work. Sasa wache kuthreaten watu, wache kuprovoke watu, kwa sababu the more they are provoking the more wanaharibu. Sasa ndio wanajaribia. This is uncalled for, this is wrong. Wezi niambia kwa sababu nimekuambia you are following and you are doing something wrong, sasa unataka nikubaliane na wewe kwa sababu you are an executive. Hapa si watu wanaonyeshana nguvu. No, these things ambao wanasema ati create kazi, this is just a scam. There's nothing like creating jobs. As much as we ndio watapata 200 watapata 500, but this is just a scam. Create a permanent job for people. Si mambo ya kucreatea 500 200 alafu naanza kupiga kelele ati nini. Waache kuthreaten judiciary. As much as najua judges that are corrupt, I know it. Our people, innocent people wamefungwa nao majudges kwa sababu ya corruption yao. But now hatuwezi enda tukaanza kuwa provoke, hatuwezi enda tukaanza kuwa nini, kuonyesha madharau kwa sababu wamekataa kubaliana na mambo zetu. We need to do things right. Wache wao wajitokeze kwa wanapinga, but you are on the right place, you are on the safe side. But now you are on the wrong side, but unataka judiciary simame na wewe. It will never work. Sasa waache kutrain watu wetu. This is uncalled for.
All right. Mr. G, if I can have your closing remarks, and then we wrap this up. But of course, we'll have a special one going on immediately after this, and then we will meet in the morning for the newspaper review. Yellow haiku happen for 2-3 challenges, but yeah, kesho, I think we have sorted it out. All right. So go ahead, Mr. G, give me your closing remarks, even as we wrap up the show.
Okay, my closing remarks, I think itakuwa short. I'll be short in words. Nitasema tu kuwa I think a time comes whereby we need to open our minds. We need to open our eyes and see. Tuache kuishi kwa blind, tuache kuishi kwa giza. You know, the moment you stay in darkness, hautajua nini inaendelea outside the darkness ambao huko. Like this guy here, vitu ambao anaongea, he's threatening judiciary, and yet judiciary imewambia kwa what they're doing, it is unconstitutional. Sasa hapa nani ambaye ako on the wrong side? It is the government that is on the wrong side, but they are trying to impose things ambazo hazifai kufanyika kwa watu. My closest remarks, let us be truthful. That is what I can leave you with. We need to be truthful. Tuache kuishi kwa uongo, tuache kuishi kwa propaganda, tukidanganya watu because they know how to play a victim and they always purport to be the victim. Wakati wanafanya makosa wanataka waonekane kuwa wamekosewa, and yet wanafanya makosa. This is wrong. We need to be truthful kwa kila kitu ambacho tunafanya. Tuache propaganda.
All right. Tuache propaganda, we need to be truthful. That is what Mr. G anamalizia nayo. But Mr. G, what can we expect in the morning?
No, there's a lot of things, Mr. Jex. There's a lot of things we can talk about. Kwa sababu our country at the moment, people are suffering. Yeah. In fact, we were to talk about the 130 children, those school children ambao hawajaripoti shuleni.
Oh, yeah.
We are supposed to talk, ilikuwa tuongelee lakini sasa time imeisha. So we cannot talk about it. We can tuongea hiyo kitu asubuhi.
Wacha niombe dakika 10 kwa studio. But pia tutaiguzia vizuri asubuhi. But in a nutshell, pesa huenda wapi? All these what do you call them? All these do you call them bursaries? Mbona hazifiki wale ambao the very vulnerable? Sometimes the cases we see kwa TV are so sad, and yet again zina happen in a way that hakuna mtu anaweza explain, kwa sababu ni sad sana, kwa sababu families zenye unaona they really deserve inaitwaje, they deserve that bursary au hawapati. So what is even the selection formula ya kuallocate hizi pesa? Do we go to the needy, ama some people are given who are almost equally able to pay the fee?
No, the problem is our leadership. The leadership is where everything is mess. It is rotten. The leadership is rotten. You know, as much as we are crying that the economy, the whole world iko na shida, but now look at the current situation where we are in. These are the people ambao promise wakaambiwa kuwa hamutalipa pesa yoyote. Pesa yote tushawalipia. Pesa yote tushatenga. So you just have to go to school. Yeah. Kwani wanatudanganya? You know, these people, they are overspending. They are overspending. Alafu pia greedy iko ndani yao. Most of them, they are incompetent. Ni watu ambao wamekuja kuiba. Ni watu ambao wamekuja kujinyakulia pesa. So hata hao watoto wadogo wakati wanapewa pesa zao za basari wakuja wasaidike, some of them wanatumia hizi pesa kiujanja. Hao watoto hawafikiwi na hiyo pesa. That's why unapata maskini wanaendelea kuumia in Kenya. Maskini wataendelea kuumia wakati matajiri wanaendelea kuwa matajiri. You see? So and the thing we can say, Mr. Jackson, ni kuwa we need to work on our leadership because the leadership is rotten. Watu wamekosa ile utu, because hakuna venye unaweza kuwa unajinyakulia pesa yote kila siku kuna chakula na kuna mtu ambaye hata hawezi kunywa maji, mtu ambaye hawezi pata hata shilingi moja ya kununua breakfast ya kule, but hata watu hawajali things like school, like mambo kama ni mambo ya shule. These are people who are our future generation, our future leaders, our future president, our future MPs, but hatuoni hiyo. Tunaharibu maisha yao wakati tunaiba, tunajinyakulia sisi wenyewe, tutaki kujali maisha yao. It is wrong. Our leadership is rotten and we need to work on this thing because it is painful. Hata wacha tu skuli, wacha mambo ya shule, go to hospital, ona wena wamama wanaumia, wena wamama wanakufa. Na kitambo tulikuwa na kitu kama linda mama ilikuwa inasaidia. Siku hizi vitu kama hizo haziko.
All right, we'll be looking at all that in the morning, equally what Edu Afya imefanya, tutaangalia hiyo asubuhi, and equally look at our newspapers and equally news making headlines. So the conversation really doesn't stop, it continues. The funny clip ambayo nimekuwa nikicheza, I think this will be the second time, ni hii. Please help me answer this young man.
Upande wa manyumba. Nani anakuwa? Nani anakuwa? Nani anakuwa? Nani anakuwa?
Please help me answer that, old man. Nani ana kwao? All right. Thank you very much.
You know, that's the best question. That's the best question.
No,
you know, Mr. James, that's why I told you.
Me, I even don't need the question. I love the facial expression. I love how he's emphasizing. I love the intonation and the tone of his voice.
Exactly.
Before I even respond, Mr. G, look at
this. Upande wa manyumba. Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao?
The face itself, the man is toothless and all.
Yeah, he's frustrated. He is frustrated. Yeah, even though kuna watu ambao pia hawana kwao, some few kama hawa machokora nini, hawa ni watu ambao hawana makwao, sawa. But on the issue of housing alafu na issue ya land, I think mzee anaongea ukweli akiuliza nani ana kwao. You know, this thing is not a priority kwa sahi, and if I quite the first priority, no. We need to look at things about the first priority, like kama watoto ambao wajienda shuleni kwa sababu ya karo ya shule, hawa mama ambao wanakufa hawana madawa. These are the first priority we need to look at. But issue ya shamba, kila mtu ako na shamba nyumbani. Mimi niko na shamba langu nyumbani, nitajenga nyumbani. You don't have to build for me a house sahi. Yeah, wasting a lot of money ambayo ingetusaidia.
All right.
So it is not a priority, yeah.
All right. Let's meet in the morning, Mr. G, and you, our viewers, together and you at our comment section. Asante sana. As I said, and I always say, you guys are the reason we do this. You listen to us, and we love equally listening to you and equally reading your sentiments and having you watch our programmings. Asante tu sana. We do this again tomorrow morning, where we look at the many things affecting our country from left, right, and center. We'll look at it. We will not spare anything. We will allow you to have a feel of what's happening. And I agree with you, good dear. I must do something. Eh? I know how it feels to wait and then it doesn't happen. I know the katka feeling. We'll do something, and tomorrow we'll definitely have the show. Thank you so much for being part of this. I am your host, Jex, the moderator. Let's do this tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. See you. Thank you. It has been nice to have you.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kweli twaenda mbio, eko kote Kenya yaenda mbele. Eko kote kwa elimu aliyavutia